Hey there, awesome folks. This is Mentor Shelley, wanting to make sure that you become a better version of yourself professionally, guys. Listen, we are going to be talking about some very important facts as it pertains to your personal economy, how much they are paying you at that wonderful job of yours. And I also have a special little surprise for you guys. It's been a minute. It's been too long, but I have a special guest with me tonight. Well, she's not a guest, she's a resident expert on here on Mentor Shelley's channel. Guys, I am introducing some and I am going to welcome others. I also have Miss Credit Solutionist with us tonight. Hey! How you doing?
Hey, can you hear me okay? Is everything good? Audio good?
Hello, Still Rocks. How you doing tonight? Wonderful, wonderful. Welcome. Listen, we are going to have a great discussion tonight about some very serious topics. I don't want to take this lightly, y'all, because this is something that if we don't have a plan for this now, we're going to have to come up with a plan ASAP. And I don't mean that as being, tongue in cheek, but this is some serious stuff. Mm-hmm. What we're going to talk about tonight is, in order for you to live comfortably, you're going to either need to make more or make a lot more, or you can stay where you're at. We're going to look at some facts. There's a couple of articles that I want to look at, but one being the main one where we're going to source some of this information. And then we're going to talk about some solutions, because there's no point, there's no reason for us to talk about something as serious as your personal economy and not have solutions for it. So, I'm here running my mouth. It's been a minute since we've rocked it on the YouTube channel together, Credit Solutionist. How does it feel to be back?
Ma'am. Okay, listen, first of all, thank you. Because I have been gone for a very long time. So, hello to everybody that's in the chat. Still Rocks. Hey, and anybody that checks it out later. Thank you so much for bringing me on, because it's been very, very busy. Life has changed a lot. I relocated very recently here and have kind of been focused on my personal life with a little bit of business instead of a lot of business with a little bit of personal. So definitely working on my personal economy, just like what you're going to talk about tonight. So I'm super happy to talk about this discussion and talk about this article that you sent me, because I saw a lot of discrepancies, and that's all I'm going to say.
Oh, all right. Guys, of course, as you're coming into the chat and you're joining us on the live, go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go ahead and check out Credit Solutionist channel as well. If you are looking to get your crazy credit corrected, you're looking to get your crazy credit score higher, or you're getting those pesky little inquiries off, she can definitely help you with all of the above and then some. We're going to touch on that in a little bit. So let's get down to business, folks. I am all about getting down to business. Okay, so the article that we're going to discuss tonight is here's the hourly income you need to afford rent around the U.S., and it's not looking good. This article was written, of course, 3 days ago by BuzzFeed. And of course, guys, with every article that is out there, it is not going to have all the information. Some of the information may be outdated, because I do see a lot of 2022 information in there. So there's no telling. Credit Solutionist might be right, because she does have some influence in pushing some of these areas. So she can definitely add and take away. I'm just using this as a benchmark for us to understand what's really needed and what's necessary for our personal economy. So it says full-time workers who make a minimum wage can't afford a one-bedroom rental in any state of the U.S. without spending more than the recommended 30% of their income, according to a report from the National Low Income Housing Coalition. We knew that. The group's annual out-of-reach report compares minimum wage and housing costs in states, metropolitan areas, and counties across the country. This year's results show a hourly wage rate needed for a modest two-bedroom apartment rent in 2022 has more than double the federal minimum wage of 7.25 per hour in every single state. Guys, let me just come back on the screen for a second. There is no way on God's green earth. Let's just keep it a bean for a second. There's no way on God's green earth y'all really think y'all could survive on 7.25 an hour. You can't. You could barely buy groceries, much less a roof over your head. So let's just take the nonsensicals out of the way. First solution.
And are they saying $7 an hour as a full-time employee, part-time? Like, what are the hours here? Because I don't know that I saw that in the article.
We're gonna get to some numbers in a minute. Now we're gonna crunch some ourselves. So I just wanted to touch on that first of all. Let's just keep it. Let's just keep it a bean. Nah, 7.25 ain't gonna cut it. So let's see here.
Oh, not even in Alabama.
We gonna touch on all of that. Trust me. We gonna touch on all of that. Now, nationally, a person would need to make at least $25.82 per hour to pay for a modest two-bedroom rental home without spending more than 30% of their income on housing. For a modest one-bedroom rental, it's $21.25. And that's median, because we're not going to talk about high-ranking states like Florida and California. We're going to get to the map in a second. Even where local minimum wages are higher than federal standard, it's not enough. No local minimum wages are sufficient to afford a one-bedroom rental in fair market rent in a 40-hour work week group states. It's not even a full one-bedroom apartment. You're talking, you can't even rent an efficiency. So here, I don't know if you guys can see this. Do I need to make it any bigger? Can you see it better now? Is that better, Credit Solutionist? Can you see it? Uh-oh. Credit Solutionist, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you. I was on mute, but yeah, you're good. It's all over the screen.
Okay, I just want to make sure you guys can see this map. According to this map, and these are 2022 numbers now, you guys know. Awesome. Thank you so much, Gabe, and welcome to the show. Now, based on this map alone, and this is 2022 numbers, in Florida, in order for you to afford a two-bedroom apartment, you have to be making at least $26 per hour. Lies you tell, because in Fort Lauderdale, you need to be making at least 35 to not spend half your income for housing, because the rents in pockets of Florida has skyrocketed to make the rest of the state look like it's podunk country. Okay? Georgia is not as bad, but Georgia is climbing up there steadily, especially in the last 2 years. You know what has happened. You would think, okay, because there are a lot of rental subsidies given. Oh, no, that's caused a lot of the rental rates to skyrocket in Georgia. Alabama, it says $16.32 per hour. You might be able to get away with that in some parts of Alabama. Mississippi, it says $15.67. Louisiana, $17.69. Arkansas, $14.89. Missouri, $16.94. For Missouri, that might be true. Of course, in the major cities, it's going to be more. North Carolina is $19.18, and I'm going to dare say it's probably gone up in the last year significantly since then. Let's even touch on some of the higher ranking states. Obviously, New York, $37.72. Let's just put that to 50. And California, let's just put that to 50.62, because the cost of living in those areas are not bordering on ridiculous. They are ridiculous. But this just gives you an idea. Hawaii is the same thing. Alaska, $24.32. That's probably more mid-range towards higher range. But this is giving you guys an idea economically what is needed to keep a decent roof over your head in a two-bedroom apartment anywhere in the country. Now, the question I also want to ask you guys, is that enough for you? based on where you guys are right now, right? Based on what you're doing for a living right now. Let me go back to, hold on one second. Let me go back to just me and Credit Solutionist here. Based on what you do for a living right now, right? Do you have enough to be able to sustain a 2-bedroom apartment in 2023? Are you making enough? And if you're not, it's time to make some changes, folks. Let's be clear. Credit Solutionist, do you want to add to that before I go back to the article?
I did. And girl, I'm trying to not talk about the math because that's how my brain works. I'm already looking at these numbers like, ma'am, this is why I left California, that $39 an hour, But I did have a question for you because as I looked over the article when you sent it to me earlier, my question is, what does modest actually mean? Is that a fancy way to say you're going to live in a neighborhood that has a higher crime rate, maybe not so good school districts? Like, are we going to be sacrificing different parts of our lives in order to meet this 30% standard that they keep pushing down our throats? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Because that's where my mind goes first.
That's exactly, when they say modest, they're talking about the fact that it's not going to be luxury. It's not going to be top tier schools. It's not going to be top tier
Right.
facilities. It's top tier accommodations for a specific neighborhood versus just what's going to be available as far as community services are concerned. What is the, what's going to be the status quo here, so to speak. So it's not just, well, maybe no, it's a lot riding on it. Let's be really clear. There's a lot riding on it. And it's not going to be some, podunk, pie in the sky. We'll just work. No, this is your personal economy. This is going to affect the roof over your head and the quality of life you have. This is not something we can play with. So this is why I wanted to bring it to our attention. Gabe says, I live in Detroit, Michigan, and you can swing it here in the city. For a family, it won't cut it. So that's okay. And these numbers are not even the full gamut, because you also have to consider, what does an individual consider to be important to their personal economy? Do they value their health to a level where they have a gym membership? There's a lot of people that have gym memberships but don't go.
Right.
There's also people that value experiences. So they'll spend more time going to restaurants, doing different things. What is your disposable income doing? And what is it that is going to add to the quality of life? It doesn't necessarily have to cost money. Even though there's a lot of more rural states, let's say the Arkansas and the Missouris and the Kansases that's mixed in there, that tends to have lower requirements as far as cost of living is concerned. But is the quality of life as far as family and being in a much more, a lot less congested environment better for you? It's going to cost you less, but it's also going to give you better quality. So quality is pretty much based on either what do you consider to be quality. So there's a lot of different ways that can go. But I do want to definitely touch on the money in a second. I'm coming to the numbers, Credit Solutionist, because I know that's definitely that's definitely why I invited you on as well, because I want to make sure that, at the end of the day, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. It has to make sense, and the 1 + 1 is always going to equal 2, unless you're talking about 1 and 1 that is going to be 11. But let's dive back in. Let's see here. So what it says here, of the 50 states, Arkansas has the lowest hourly income needed for a 2-bedroom rental at $14.89. The report shows, but the state's minimum wage is 11. Interestingly enough, the state's minimum wage is better than states that are more expensive. Anyway, Hawaii demands the highest income for renters. The workers need to make $40.63 an hour to afford a 2-bedroom in Aloha State, where the minimum wage is increasing to $12 as of October 1st. But even accounting for areas that have higher than federal higher than federal minimum wage, the average American would need to go a long 96-hour work weeks for 52 weeks a year to afford a two-bedroom apartment or rental income, according to reports, which notes that's equivalent to about 2.5 2.5 full-time jobs for the overwhelming majority. Not even sharing a dual income with federal minimum wage earner partners could cover a two-bedroom rental in their state. This is a grim outlook, similar to groups' previous reports, which also showed sobering disparities between income and rent. The report authors say poor political decisions are to blame, as well as coronavirus pandemic, which has only compounded the problem. Housing is a basic human need, but millions of people in America can't afford safe, stable homes, according to the NLIHC president and CEO Diane Hentel in a previous press release. The lack of affordable homes for low income people is one of our country's most urgent and solvable challenges during a after COVID. We lack only the political will to fund the solutions at the scale necessary. It's time for Congress to act. The minimum wage has not kept up with inflation in 1968. The federal minimum wage was equivalent to $13.16 an hour in 2022, nearly $6 higher than today's actual federal minimum wage. It hasn't kept up with the rate of productivity growth either. If it had, the report notes would have over $22 per hour of 2021. Guys, let's be clear here. Let me come back on the screen here. Let's be absolutely positively clear. Nobody, and I mean nobody, can ever expect that minimum wage is going to cut it when it comes to being, having your own personal economy together. Yes, the government has some part in this. But let's be clear, folks, you're responsible for your own personal economy. I'm not about to sit here and give you guys the sob, let's pull out the little tiny violin and go squeaky squeak squeak. You're responsible for that. You know you don't want to live in the ghetto. You know you want to dodge bullets when you come home every night. So guess what? If you know that the money that you have coming in, let's do some dollars and cents. If you know the hourly rate that you have coming in is only going to get you in the ghetto, do your ever dear best to pick up a second job, second income in whatever way, shape, or form. If it means working 2 full-time jobs, doing 1 full-time job and doing a part-time job, part-time side hustle. Our wonderful Cherie. Hello, Cherie from Black Women. Oh, I am honored. I am honored, Cherie. She is also a resident friend of the Mentor Shelley YouTube channel as well. Black Women Making Money. That is the leader for that movement, because I consider that a movement. And of course, this is right up her alley because she is always encouraging us as Black women and women in general to make more money, to put yourself in a better economical situation. So this is I know this is definitely up her alley. Cherie said, living comfortably? No, you cannot do anything on minimum wage. That's exactly correct. Let's just put a star by that. We know that for sure.
I'm like, hey, Cherie girl, because I ain't comfortable.
None of us would be. Let's be clear. But let's step away from the fact we know for a fact minimum wage is not going to cut it. But what is going to cut it? Is it going to be certifications that we do? Is it going to be us going back to school? Is it going to be making a career change? Yes, you can. There's nothing wrong with working at Amazon and doing warehouse work. There's nothing wrong with that. If that's the job you can get at this point in time, do it. It's better than minimum wage. I'll tell you that for sure. But at the same token, what is it that you want for yourself as an individual? I'm not talking about the combining incomes. I'm not talking about the family situation. The family situation introduces a whole nother economic dynamic. But what is it? What are the solutions here? So one of the things I want to make sure that you guys know is that there are places, if you want to know what's really what, let's see here. I have shared this on the Black Women Making Money's channel before, right? Let's see here. We have, let me see. There are places, if you want to know what it is that you need to do, have a plan and make sure you execute that plan. Is it going to be through certifications? Is it going to be through getting on the job training? There's a lot of jobs out there now that does not require a degree, but they require certification and they require experience. Do you know how to package your experience? Now, this is where Mentor Shelley's services that I do provide come in here. Do you know how to package your services well on a resume for the right employer to not only see what you offer, but also want to see it enough to reach out to you to get an interview with you? Because that's the job of your resume. Is your resume ready to receive better offers? You may be in a position, let's say for example, I'm just going to use, because I'm in the field, an HR coordinator position only pays a certain amount, but you want to move up to, let's say, a generalist, or you want to move up to an analyst, or dare say you want to move up into management. Do you have the skills now that can at least give you the stepping stone to get there? Does your resume say, I want to do more? Do you have projects that you can use, accomplishments that you can use to sell your skills for a fee? Because that's really what your resume is doing, and that's what you're doing in the job market. You're selling your skills for a specific fee. You're no different than a consultant, is only that the only difference is that you have one client. So of course, Cherie, this is definitely up your alley. Trying to keeping, oh, that's another great point. Trying to keep your credit good if you're going after employment. That's also very key. Credit Solutionists can speak to this in the sector that she works in. If you're if you have that job and they run your credit a year after you've been there and your credit is not where it was before, you might be in jeopardy of losing the job. That's how important credit is in certain sectors.
True.
So Credit Solutionists, I know I've gone on quite a bit, but I want you definitely to add your perspective to this. You're coming from a credit standpoint, but that's also important to our personal economy.
For sure. It's all intertwined, so to speak. Like, I was talking to you briefly about a consultation that I had earlier today where I recognize that a lot of the things that I'm recommending to these folks, they can't really do unless they are pretty much I guess in line with where they want to go, which is what you were talking about before. First, you have to have the goal, right? And then you have to figure out where you want to live, how much you can afford, how your credit's looking, how your debt is looking. And that's really going to, pinpoint what you can actually afford to stay within, I guess, living within your means, right? When it comes to the credit side, as far as jobs go, it's like, yes, you do actually have to keep your credit in pretty good shape, because sometimes it depends on the contents of what's on your credit, which I'm sure you can speak to that. But some employers may look at you a little crazy, not only because you may have back child support or a judgment, but they may look at you a little funny or give some pause if you have a ton of debt, right? So what we're running into now with the economy and the rent and all these, making 30% and all this stuff that you're talking about, is we have an influx of people that are actually using their credit cards to pay their rent because they can't actually afford it. So, yeah. So it's becoming quite an issue. So for me, I do think that we have to kind of figure out, like I said, we talked about what a modest apartment really means. But I guess I wanted to speak to what that means to your lifestyle too, because you're going to be commuting, which means more gas, because more than likely you work in a better area than where you actually live, and it may be further away, right? So you're going to have that extra added stress. Who knows? You may have to hire a therapist because of that. Who knows, right? So I think sometimes this modest living that we keep getting promoted as the ace in the hole, so to speak, is actually going to cause more expenses for us in the back end. If that makes sense, as far as like in our personal lives, because we're going to have to dedicate way too much more time to compensating for the fact that we're in this apartment that is 50 miles away from the city or something like that. You
Woo.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's kind
because
of
they
a
have to.
mess.
Yeah, because you have to move further out to be able to afford the apartment that, or afford the cost, the roof over your head, that
Right.
your budget can meet.
Yeah.
There's so
And
much to this. I want to bring the point home here. All of this is driven by income, folks.
yeah.
When you hear me say use the words personal economy, that ties into income. What it is that you are bringing in, and what are the things that you have to pay out. If you're
Mhm.
making less than what you need, then we have to do something. This is not Monopoly. This is real life. So if you got 200, but you got to pay out 250, where's the other 50? Well, where's the other 100 coming from? Because you got to keep some for yourself. Let's just keep it real simple. You know, I want to make sure you guys know we have to. I want you guys to be ready. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And a lot of what's happening, I'm looking at. I'm going to work every day, and there's people that literally are losing jobs over stealing stuff from the vending machine because they really have no money.
Wait, how are they stealing from the vending machine?
Well, it's not. It's an like you know how those you have those little markets where it's open and they just take and they don't realize that there's a camera
Oh, wow.
looking
So
at
kind of
them
like the
as they steal.
Starbucks where it's an open display kind of thing.
Yeah,
Got you. Okay.
yeah. And when they go up to pay for it and pretend to pay for it, they're
Right.
straight up losing their jobs because they decided to do something silly. But a lot of times they don't have the money. And I know
Hmm.
that's a lot of the times that's what it is, but you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. How are you're about to lose your job that's paying you a set fee per hour for $2?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Where do you think that comes from as far as like the mindset about that? Because it almost seems like they're not really, we may just
Thinking?
have a blind spot for thinking ahead versus thinking in the
Yep.
moment because we are in panic mode and we're in survival mode where, you know, if your head is just above the water, if you can't swim, let's say, for instance, if you start to inch into the six foot part of the pool, you're gasping for air. So you're going to grab anything that's there to save you. So I almost see that as almost the exact same thing where we're not thinking about the consequences because flailing in water can actually help you sink faster.
Yeah.
They don't understand maybe stealing from your job at the vending area can actually cost you your livelihood and then you go on a downward slope. So what do you think, I guess,
It's
is it the stress that makes them not see the consequences?
I one, it's a matter of integrity. Two, because there's no one sitting there watching you, you're under
Hmm.
the impression that you're getting away with it.
Gotcha.
And three, they don't understand the level of consequences
Hmm.
from stealing. Because you may have some people say, well, nobody's watching me. I don't see anybody around. I can get away with it. Not realizing you're being captured by not one, not two, but three cameras and
And
being
captured on
recorded.
your computer when you get back to your desk. They track everything. Okay, they track our bathroom breaks, guys. Come on, like
Yeah,
that's what I
actually,
mean.
people are stealing from vending machines at this point. I wanted to I wanted to address the situation because sometimes I think people wander aimlessly through life with no plan.
Right.
And as for young people, one of the reasons I wrote the book for Clueless Teenager to Consummate Professional is because I wanted high school and college students coming out of college to have some form of strategy, some form of plan, not only for their career but for their economic life. One of the chapters that's in that book is it talks about credit. because you're going to need it to in some areas to advance. Cherie is a you're absolutely right, Cherie. Most people are going through life with no plan. Part of the part of the issue is that you think this job that you have is going to be here forever, and it's not. You think that working in one place that pays a set amount per hour that's only going to give you a 20-cent raise every year is going to be here forever, instead of putting a plan in place for your career and executing that plan. Everyone knows, or maybe not everyone, that you give yourself the biggest raise when you change jobs. You're not going to get a 20%, 30%, 20,000, 30,000, $40,000 bump without doing that, unless you're in an organization where you're moving from regular analyst to, let's say, management. And even then, the bump may not be that big. So you have to, one, bet on yourself, but two, also put plans in place for yourself and put yourself in position to win. Depending on what minimum wage is going to be is not the ticket. Putting a plan in place, a concrete plan in place. And I don't mean just say, oh, well, I watched a video and I'm going to do this. You can't, your economic life cannot be left to chance. Because if you do that, you're going to end up homeless. Nobody wants that. You're going to end up you be in the wrong state, doing the stupidness, making wrong decisions at the wrong time. That will have you homeless quicker than you can spit. This is how serious this is. Because if you're in Arkansas making $25 an hour, you might be okay. But if you're making $25 an hour in New York, you might be homeless. Because the cost of living, the difference is that vast. So when I'm bringing this to you guys' attention because we need a plan. If you don't have a plan, I could work with you to put a plan in place, an economic plan in place. And if it means switching industries to make more money. I've been in HR for 20 years and I'm looking into IT. Let's just be clear. You have to make sure that you keep your options open and you have your brain that's still on and is willing to work and make a change. Cherie made a career change in the last couple of years herself. Because at the end of the day, your personal economy is what's going to drive a lot of other factors of your life, including where you lay your head. So if the rental income is going to, rents are going to go up and up and up and up. Always expect that before you expect it to go down.
And Shelly, I was going to say something because
if you want to move, yes.
No, I was going to say I lived in.
I want to make sure that.
Go ahead. I'm gonna mute myself. Hold on. You know how I talk.
It's okay. The goddess Athena, welcome to the show. Appreciate you coming in. Of course, as you come in, guys, drop a like, comment, add to the discussion because this is a fruitful discussion for us all. I'm talking about this as I'm working plan my own economic plan myself because I'm not just here talking the game. I actually have to walk this walk. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. So when it comes to putting your plan in place, I'm not just talking. I got to take action because that's the only way this works. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Credit Solutionist.
Listen, I was about to burst from the seams. I'm like, y'all, she running it. She ain't telling y'all everything, but she running it. Like, because I'm like, whoa, I had to give you your props right now. Yeah, she's like, yeah. Who's the fastest person right now? Sha'Carri Richardson? Yeah. This one.
Oh, stop it.
No, what I was going to say is I was having a conversation with somebody, I think yesterday actually. And I'm in Virginia now. Mm-hmm. I was making $7 an hour back in 2003 as a high schooler working at Macy's, right? Mm-hmm. And this person was telling me that with their side hustle, they're getting $9 an hour. So I thought to myself, like, wait a minute, I was making $7 20 years ago. Even with the 3% raise, I think I would be above $9 an hour if I had stayed at that same job. So it's kind of weird because I guess the income increases or the minimum wage versus how much you pay for your everyday life, and your basic cost of living. A lot of people aren't really considering the fact that, yes, it might be good for, say, Arkansas, but there are tons of remote workers that might be coming to your town that are going to boost the monthly rent
Yep.
and the economy as a whole. Like, okay, eggs don't cost the same as they did a year ago, but everybody eats eggs, right? So it's like these things we're
Right.
not really considering. It's like nobody's really looking at the fact that the times are changing. Technology is becoming, it is a staple in our everyday life, no matter what. Your generation, my generation, any generation after us, tech
Right.
is here to stay. So we have to really consider, with that happening, your area, no matter how desolate or how remote you think it is, there's going to be a lot of people coming into your town making $20 an hour that want to get that $500, $600 rent. And it's going to double and triple pretty quickly because of that. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there because I thought to myself, like, I don't think I could take a side job, even a side job at $9 an hour. Like, it just wouldn't make sense to me. But some people actually think that that's great because of the state that I live in. And I'm like, no, you guys, the fact that I'm here from California should already tell you that a change is happening and that $9 might not cut it.
Honey, the amount of people running away from California going to Arizona and everywhere else speaks volumes. Okay. But let me
Yeah,
make
we're
sure.
changing the
Cherie says,
game.
and once you have a plan, yeah, once you have a plan, then execute it. Of course, 80% of the people don't have a plan, and the other 10% don't follow what they have. So, of course, that's why only the 10% win. That absolutely makes sense. Of course, the goddess Athena says, I was recently watching a video about the child care crisis and housing crisis. Child care is not almost, of course, the mortgage. There's some child care that costs more than a mortgage. Cherie is like, as a matter of fact, yeah, I was actually in the live stream that time where they were talking about child care can be at as much as 2K a month. That is more than some people's mortgage, and that's rent for some people. So the minimum wage dollars is not gonna cut it. 2 grand a month. Oh my goodness. Cherie says, if you want childcare that is beyond babysitting, but actually set your kid up to be able to read and do math at grade level, you have to pay for it. That is absolutely true. You literally get what you pay for in that instance. Oh, she's talking about South Florida. Just as bad as California. Okay, the guys at the end, rents in South Florida is 50% more than Yep, pre-pandemic. Thankfully, I got my place before, but I question what would have happened if I didn't. I'm gonna tell you, there's a lot of homeless people in South Florida right now because of that. That's what's happening if you didn't have a plan and you slip through the cracks. And I hate to say it, but that's what can happen if you don't have a plan. Y'all, please start a side hustle, do mobile notary. List get your insurance license. The insurance license take a week or two tops. Do something different to get that income up, y'all. Whew, I can't tell you. The goddess Athena, I'm child free, but I think about people who have children at daycare. That's 2 grand a month. Ma'am. Oh, God. I know the 1 bedroom apartments. That's 1,900. In Miami, that's 2,500, honey. Trust me, I am aware. I'm from South Florida. Yeah, Fort Lauderdale is just as bad as Miami right now. It is crazy. So that's why I said if you're gonna be in those places, yeah, exactly. It is crazy, Goddess Athena. And it is crazy, Cherie, for
Yeah.
us to understand where is it, and you would think, oh, because we were in the pandemic just made things in some cases worse.
And it
So
gave people clarity, a lot of people clarity that weren't sure
yeah,
that stuff was about to hit the fan. It's like, no, it actually is. So,
yeah,
I feel like a lot of us got clarity with that too.
yeah. A
Yeah.
lot of it, a lot of what's going on right now is a lot of correction because
Hmm.
while while that stuff was going on, people were inside, people were working remotely. A lot of people that were paying rent stopped paying rent because there was a lot of rent moratoriums in place, and oh, they didn't have to pay rent and they didn't have to do this. So a lot of people went on chill mode. They were getting, what do you call it, stimulus money, and doing all kinds of nonsense with the stimulus money instead of what you were supposed to do with it. Because during that period of time, if you were a homeowner, that would have been the time to refinance because the interest rates were low. When I say low, I mean 1-2%. Of course, Cherie can talk about that more because she is in that business as well. That would have been the time to refinance and really be able to put yourself in a better position. But a lot of people were out here doing absolute nonsense and going on trips that they now no longer can afford. or or still paying for on credit cards. Or oh Lord. It a lot of foolishness, you know. Listen, the Godzina says, I haven't been dating recently, but I wonder how it affects the economy. Oh, it affects the economy because boy, look here. The fellas with the podcast mics are talking about coffee dates and all the other things. I do not want to even get in that sphere of YouTube at this point. Oh yes, I know. You're muted, but I know. That's not even the sphere of YouTube I want to get into. But it has definitely changed. And there's a lot of homosexuals out there now because first of all, they may not even be in a position to be able to afford a place of their own. So they're trying to hitch on to what man or what woman, because there's homosexuals on both sides. So that also affects how people live, what they do in relationships, what type of relationships they have. Oh gosh. Whew, Lord, let's not go down that rabbit hole tonight. Lord have mercy.
Yeah, I was going to say, just to keep in the spirit of your stream, I feel like
Mhm.
it's more like you have to look at your own situation as an individual. And then, if you're thinking about relationships and all that stuff,
Yeah,
it's like it's not really about like throwing daggers at the opposite, your counterpart, whoever that is. It's not about that. It's about fixing yourself, getting your structure, like,
yeah,
getting all your ducks in a row, and then kind of seeing if you decide to date or do whatever, you got to obviously date a like-minded person and then
yeah,
see if combined with your resources combined and your goals combined can really make some things happen.
yeah.
I'm not opposed to coupling in order to become better financially as well. I think that should be a part of it. So aside
Mhm.
from the more inflammatory topics, I think
Right.
this is something that we do have to consider when we're looking at love and all that stuff too. So again,
Absolutely.
another topic, but I agree. It's like you just got to block out the people that have the negative things to say and
Yeah,
keep doing what you're supposed to do. That's it.
absolutely. And Credit
You
Solutions,
know.
you brought up a really great question. Does anyone in the chat have more than one income stream? These days and times, that's a requirement. If you really want to live the quality of life that you could say, okay, well, I want to, I want need a break. You give yourself a couple of days here, you're going to need to have something else coming in other than the job. Or if you have one business going and it's going pretty well and you can create other streams, different streams within that business, you have to have at least one or two other streams coming in. Absolutely. So that's a great question. Cherie says a lot of people did a refi a couple years ago but are now back in 100K debt and need to get more money out of their house. I'm not gonna say anything. Woo Lord. That's going on too. That's true. Yeah, of course. Cherie, go ahead. Let me see. The goddess Athena says, I wish a Dusty would say something to me. Ooh, child, some of these Dusties they disguise themselves pretty well, honey. Just ask questions. Ask a lot of questions and watch actions. That's all I'm gonna say about that. The second stream is small, but I've been doing it for years. We all have to have listen, we all have there's it's no one trick pony anymore. There's no one trick pony. You have to have some other things going on outside of the job itself. God said, not with these expenses, child. We don't have time to be entertaining Dusties, no way. Loneliness can cost a lot of money. It is cheaper just to pay for an evening. Eh, yes and no.
Okay, I'm like,
Um,
ma'am, what you talking about? Pay for what kind of evening? Who we directing that at? Because I know what I think she's saying, but no. And
there's
she
some.
might be right.
Well, to be honest with you, I find that sometimes being single, you're better off because you only have to think about one person
Yeah.
versus two people or a person plus a child. It just depends. Everybody is in a different phase of life at this
And has
point,
different life goals.
and
So
different life goals and different
yeah.
lifestyles. So that could go either way. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to touch on the lifestyle topics because I don't want the crazy part of YouTube coming after me. We talking about money and
Listen.
economics here. Goddess says, it's been so much about my business that I cannot even comprehend entertaining people, friends, family who aren't financially focused. Listen, that
Yeah.
is what Cherie has been talking about on her channel, Black Women Making Money. Please eliminate the distractions from your economic development. If you're working on getting your personal economy on point, do not let the distractions in the media, do not let the distractions with the influencer or the entertainer or the singer or the artist or whatever nonsense you hear coming across your feed get
Mm-hmm.
in the way. We talked about maybe like 6 or 7 months ago, we touched on dark mode on Black Women Making Money. Going dark mode, meaning focusing on that particular task or that particular goal you have in mind, whether it's getting your business to a certain amount per month, your side hustle, whether it's getting your content creation or content strategy moving through, whether it be on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, wherever it is. If you want to make sure that let's say you want to break into tech, you're applying for tech jobs, you're working on getting certifications, go into dark mode to make sure those goals are being met. It's not time to play, and it's not time for distractions. It's time to get to work. So staying financially focused, Goddess Athena, that is definitely what we are about on this channel. Cherie says we need a Mentor Shelly After Dark episode for me to explain what I mean. Listen, we're going to have to talk about that offline.
Like, I gotta come off mute for that. That would be so cool because we could just kind of
Listen,
let loose a little bit and
yes, absolutely. We'll definitely work on that piece. But yeah, we'll talk about that offline. But
I
Cherie,
actually had a question for you if it's okay, Shelly.
sure.
Because you are the career coach, resume extraordinaire, among other things, right? That I know you're gonna talk about later. Yeah, know. But here's my question, because you know that I have been kind of experiencing something with YouTube where it's like that kind of was my side thing where it's like I have this business and yes, we're like doing different things in it, kind of pivoting to more of a consultation front. That's great. YouTube has helped a lot with that, right? However, without going too deep into it, YouTube has kind of done some shifting, and I've noticed a little bit of a change in my income from YouTube,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
Now, what are your thoughts on when we make these pivots and we do these side hustles and things like that? How do we compensate for when the side hustle falls through or it's not as lucrative or the powers that be change and things pivot and we're not making the money that we were before? What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on
How,
that
how
is
does one
this. We
rebound, I guess, from
have
something like that?
we first have to look at what's really going on, what's causing the shift. A SWOT analysis would definitely help.
Mm-hmm.
As far as, okay, well, YouTube is a huge search engine. It's an algorithms drive all of that. What is it that they're looking at? Do I need to switch to, do I need to make some changes on the type of content I'm putting out? Do I need to make some changes in regards to how often I'm putting content out? That may determine the income. SWOT analysis. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are your opportunities and what are your threats? Based on the content you put out, as far as YouTube is concerned, or as far as just any social media platform that you're promoting your business on, Is it truly bringing in revenue? Is it bringing in revenue on the consultation side? In your case, yes, it is. And that's awesome, because there's people that are putting out content and it's not getting near one a consultation. So it just depends on, okay, SWOT analysis on your business. Is it something, do you want to do more marketing or less? Do you want to change your marketing from one platform to the next, or try both platforms to see how they perform? It's not a 1-2 answer, but doing a proper SWOT analysis on every phase of your business is going to be a great start. So that'll explain what are your strengths? You want to keep your strengths in place. What are your weaknesses? You want to strengthen those weaknesses. What are your opportunities? What are the opportunities that you're missing that you may be able to take advantage of once you look at things? And what are the threats? What's the competition out there? What's the new thing that's keeping everybody's attention? Outside of other people's personal lives that they choose to share in books. We're not going to even say the
that. That was a master marketing thing with so many levels to it. It's like, oh God. I know Cherie can speak on that for sure.
When I tell you I am so over controversial marketing, because that's been going on for the past year.
Yeah.
That's really
and really we don't have to go into that.
No,
it's like
we don't.
So funny. I told you about something that happened over the weekend for me, and it was like, wait, you don't have to do that. Like, just you have enough information that everybody needs, so just stick to that, Pretty so girl, I saw the light, don't trip.
So that's just my opinion on that. Cherie, would you mind? Do you want
to totally come up? Yeah,
you should just come up on the panel and get it over with.
Okay.
What do you say? What do you say?
We're getting our juices flowing. Okay, we're getting back in the flow. It's the last quarter,
Yes, absolutely. Cherie said there's 74 days left into the end of the year. You can't. Absolutely, I'm going dark mode. I'm getting some of these major goals that we have accomplished for sure. Cherie, let me know if you want to come up now. I'll go put it in the chat.
I was just gonna say, girl, put that link up there, because and Goddess Athena, if you're still here, girlfriend.
All right. All right. I'm putting that up there. But of course, Credit Solutionist says there exactly told your client today during the consultation. Go dark mode for 90 days on those goals, man. And we can definitely get some of these things done and really be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Some of the things that we've been pushing off and on for years. Because at the end of the day, it's really
Shelly, I'm gonna be right back. Okay, I'm just gonna turn off my camera for just a second. Okay,
do you think it's all about improving your personal economy? At the end of the day, it's not about Miss Gardner. Hello, how you doing? You wanted to join us? Okay, so go ahead and let me see. Let me add you on here with us. Hello.
This way so I can.
Yes.
Okay.
Hi. How you doing,
guys?
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm actually out of town for a conference, FinCon.
Awesome.
So yes. So I was actually taking a break from it, and I saw you guys on live. So I was like, okay, let me slide in, see what you guys are doing, because I know the last time we were all I think I was on Cherie's live.
Yes.
About going dark mode, and that's exactly what I've been doing. And when I tell you, a lot of positive things have happened, but I have been working my little booty off.
Yes, we have to though. In order for the results that we're looking for to come to fruition, we absolutely have to shut out a lot of the distraction. A lot of what's going on in the news now is distraction. A lot of what's being spread out there is distraction, telling people they don't need to buy assets, telling people they don't need to do this and that. If you're paying attention to that, you're paying attention to the wrong thing.
I often question, because I know that because I just see, even I'm here in New Orleans, right? And I'm staying downtown in a really nice, supposed to be a nice area, but I see a lot of homeless, a lot of visibly mentally ill people walking around, and I don't even feel fully safe, like even on the street, and where I'm going is like 8 minutes away. I was like, I need to probably still take a Uber or a car because I don't feel safe walking. And I, I'm an immigrant, so I think this is the first time I've really seen America, the visible signs of struggle, the visible signs of things like taking this big downturn, even in areas where, because wealth can be segregated within an area, right? But it's like you're not
Right.
seeing it. Like you're just seeing it everywhere. Like the homelessness has like risen.
Because that goes back to the whole subject, the subject of this discussion. Because even in all of what happened in the last 2 years, cost of living has skyrocketed in a lot of cities and a lot of areas. And because of that, we have what we have. Okay, I think, oh, Miss Cherie!
Hey, can you ladies hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
And let me just say hey to my boo Athena. Hey, girl, I was thinking about you like 2 days ago. I promise.
Uh-huh.
I'm like,
I'm coming out. I'm coming out of the shadows, y'all. I
Yeah,
promise.
she's lying to
she
people.
done moved.
Y'all, it's a lot. It's a lot. We'll have to talk offline. It's a lot. But anyway, let me be quiet.
Yes.
Hey, Cherie, girl.
Yeah,
Girl,
but
I look, I was like, are you alive?
I check in on her every so often.
I was gonna say Shelly
too.
knows I'm kicking, but
Yes.
sometimes it'd be like a little.
Yes, it's a little flicker, but I
Mm.
still make sure she good. Trust me.
Okay, well, look, as
Yes.
long as you're good. So,
Yes.
yes. So, I am enjoying tonight's conversation, ladies. Thank you so
Yes.
much. And yes, you cannot like live off of minimum wage and
No.
make it in any kind of comfort. You're
No.
right. Actually, a lot of people who are on minimum wage can't make it at all.
No.
That is the reason why you have two groups of people. Either one group is picketing in order to get, higher wages. And it's not just the people making minimum wage picketing. You got a lot of labor that is fighting for higher wages.
Yep.
Or number two, they are on the system. There are a lot of people who work, for example, at Walmart. This is what I heard. I don't know for sure, but I don't doubt it. A lot of people work for Walmart, and the Walmart um, administrative people also show them the paperwork for them to be on welfare and Medicaid and all of that as well. So,
Really?
oh yeah. See, Victoria's shaking her head. That's what I heard. So she's saying, yeah, it's true. So yeah, they'll be working full time at Walmart and be on Section 8 and getting food stamps and all of that. So um
Oh wow.
yeah, you can't um if you're looking to have any kind of a quote unquote middle class life these days,
Mm-hmm.
it's difficult to do it practically anywhere without six figures, without two incomes and of some sort. Um, Unless you like already inherited a house or you bought, you know, like Goddess Athena and I did, in 2018 or even
Mm-hmm.
prior. Yeah, I'm
Mm-hmm.
jealous of those people who bought in 2010 and have those 3% mortgages.
Listen.
And at the time, I
Um.
thought that 3% was high. Like I thought that.
Oh.
Girl,
I
no,
was
that
like,
was low.
oh
It's
my
probably never going to get that
Lord.
way again. It's never going to be 3% again, is what a lot of
Listen.
people are saying.
Listen. I'm very grateful that I was
Mhm.
able to make the moves I made when I did. Because when I tell you, had I waited another year, I would
Mm.
not have had that opportunity.
Yeah. And here's the thing, and this goes to Black people specifically.
Yeah.
Only 40% of Black people, something like that, so 40% actually own a house. That means 60% of us are locked out. And the mortgage applications that I'm seeing now, the
Mhm.
60% are going to be locked out forever
What?
because,
What?
yes, because,
Okay, I'm like, hold on, ma'am. Speak.
Preach.
okay,
No.
here's what's happening. The prices in the super majority of cities and areas they are not going to come down, right? They're
That I
only going to increase. Once you have the interest rates right now are 6% to 8%, let
Mhm.
them go back down to 4.5% to 6%. You've got 45 million millennials who want to buy their first house. But guess what a lot of those millennials have? Mom, dad, grandma, grandpa
Student
that's
loan
going to
debt.
give them money to
Mhm.
help them with the down payment. I'm telling you, I'm seeing the applications.
Wow.
I'm talking to these individuals.
So,
So if you're part of the 60% of Black people who don't own a house, it's probably because you don't have a family structure for that. Not all, not all, not all, but
Mhm.
most, right? So there was a time when you could get in with a program like NACA or something like that,
Mhm.
but that's when the houses, when 3% was 10 grand, 15 grand. What are
mhm.
you going to do when, you know,
Mhm.
it's now $20,000, $25,000 unless you've been working for many years and you've put that money into your 401k. So, and then you have to have closing costs as well.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I mean, we're turning into the haves and the have-nots. And we're moving to a nation of families. Erica Williams is right about that in a way. She really is.
So what does
She's
the
been
nations of families mean? Like expound on that.
Well, what do I mean by family or
Oh, which
no families. When you say
nations
it's
of
moving
families,
to families.
that nations
yeah.
of families. What does that?
So it's going to be nations of groups of people that are working together
Yeah.
to build economically. So a family could be the traditional mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, kids, but a family could also mean um, like a Diamond Dave. What Diamond Dave talks about, groups of people that get together. Maybe they house hack in order to, get their first couple of properties, etc. Um, uh, what
Right.
what Diamond Dave is saying and Erica is saying, and I'm starting to agree with them, is there was a time you could do it by yourself. I don't think you're going to be able to do these things by yourself anymore.
Right.
Going to be able to really buy assets like you used to be able to by yourself.
My thing is, because I had to think about it because I was like, okay, should I be? Oh, maybe I need to turn up. It's so dark in here. But I was like, should I be worried about this? Should I, as far as there's a lot of conversation about the American economy and American losing its super status and all these other things. But I think, I don't know, I think because I'm an immigrant and I come from a country that has been pretty much economically depressed since I've been born, these are things that have been happening in other countries forever, like for a long time. And I think America is just reaching that point where we're going to have to mimic what those other countries do, like multi generational living, house hacking, or working as a group, either within a family or I guess with a different group to make those things happen. Um, like you said, I think with inflation, housing, childcare, it's really forcing you to either have to do that or just be homeless. Like I've just never seen levels,
Oh,
even when where I'm at right now, I've just never seen levels of mental illness and homelessness displayed in the streets like that. And it's like there's no escape because, like you said, there's people who are displaced. Where are they going to go? Where are they going to
It
go?
there's some that unfortunately there's a small percentage of them that may not be a place to come back to, because if they have mental issues going on and they're not getting the proper help, that's not they're probably not there's probably not going to be a return, unfortunately. But let me go ahead and at least greet the folks that have come into the chat. Jay Antoinette, hello. Welcome to the show. Of course, facts. A lot of what Cherie has touched on is very true. But it also hit a nerve for all of us as women working in this economy. We still have the power, the mental fortitude, and the determination to improve our situations, not just singly by ourselves, but collectively as well.
Right.
Which is one of the reasons I wanted to sound the alarm on this particular topic, because I'm seeing the economy, the supposed recession that they claim that is not here, or that's kind of like the buzzword that nobody wants to speak, but you see
Yeah,
signs.
they
Yeah,
changed the definition of recession in order to say that it's not happening. You
All right.
remember
So
that last year, right?
Shelly already knows they changed definitions of
listen,
stuff
I'm
we
in the job market
listen.
what's the new
where they've
definition?
literally renamed half of what's been going on for the past 15 to 20 years. They've renamed coasting to quiet quitting. They've reclaimed you being a nuisance at work to loud quitting. They've renamed all kinds of having two jobs. And of course, if it's remote, it's overemployment. So you can thank Twitter for renaming all kinds of things that already existed. It's
Well, I tell you what they
kind of
can't
like how
rename.
Christopher Columbus discovered America, but we're going to leave
Girl,
that alone. Now,
stop.
Girl.
See, we look. Shelly.
But I will tell
okay,
you what they're not
let
about to
me be good.
rename. I'm about to tell you what they're not about to rename. When people go into that voting booth next November,
Ooh,
if their pockets are light, I'm trying to tell everybody now. I don't care what you think about Trump, like him or hate him. If their pockets are light, do not be surprised if the man gets back in.
Oh no.
on that note, hi Shar.
I know. I'm a hush. I'm gonna
Look,
talk to Cherie about that some other day. But
Yeah,
I
we,
think
look,
we got
look. So I like watch people. I watch people, and I just um I hear what the pundits are saying, and then I'm hearing what people are saying on the ground, and never underestimate people's emotions and their own personal economy. That's all I have to say about that. So,
yes. Sure. Or adding ADUs. Oh yes, I was just reading about that. Because I know they changed some laws recently where they're more accommodating to ADUs.
yes, and you can get financing for it 30 years as part of your mortgage.
I have a question. How do you ladies? All right, so I'm a single woman.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I've been contemplating doing this, but I don't know if it's the fear because it's just me. So everything is financially on me, right? And everything with the housing situation. But I was like, okay, I think I want to do an investment move as far as getting like my first multifamily property.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking of like pulling some of the equity out of my home to do that, right? But then I was like, oh, like, because there's risk with real estate. I was like, oh, should I be doing that right now with the economy being bad? And it's just me. Like, I don't have any like partner to shoulder any kind of financial risk or burden. But
Cherie's the expert in this area.
I
know
but
what I would do.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm like, what kind of partner do you
so
mean exactly?
yeah, so I will say a couple of things to you. Number one is, yes, there are a lot of people right now that are pulling out equity from their home in order to buy property. That's actually very much a part of what I do day to day, is helping people do that. Um, I will say, and like, don't take this the wrong way, do your research, be careful where you are buying.
Yep.
Don't assume that just because the cash flow is higher in a certain place that you will, or that you should invest there. And understand that there are there are two things that you're looking for in an investment. One is cash flow, and the other is appreciation. So there are some markets that will not give you a cash flow, but you'll have a better appreciation. And then there are other places where you'll get great cash flow, but the price of the property may
Nothing.
never go up.
Right.
Exactly. So the final thing I will say is, I've spoken with a lot of different investors, and most of them regret investing too far away from where they live. They
Uh,
always wish that they had invested someplace where they could drive and check
mhm.
on their property. So,
Yeah.
you know, so yeah, but it is something that you can do with regards to multifamily. There's short-term rentals is having some trouble legislatively. So I would stick with either long term rentals or medium term rentals. I know
Right.
some people that are doing well with like buying houses for in college areas for students, near
Right.
hospitals for travel nurses. And then there's also another thing I just heard about where there are insurance companies that um, like let's say somebody has a fire in their house or a flood and they need to move someplace, these insurance companies will pay for the family to move in these houses for like 3 4 months and pay really good money
Mhm.
for them to live there as well. So
Up to a
there's
year.
some website. I'm
Up to a
sorry.
year. Yeah. No, I said
Yeah,
up to a year sometimes.
okay, yeah, I know that they said at least a few months. I know somebody who has a property and he put it on this insurance site and he's doing quite well with that. They pay more than just, somebody renting it for a year lease. So,
Right.
so yeah.
Yeah. So for sure, you have a lot of options there, but of course, follow the expert. The expert said do your research first,
Hmm.
and make sure that it's going to be a feasible investment for you that you can manage. At the end of the day, folks, we're all talking about different ways we can improve our economic situation, whether it be through property, whether it be through higher education, whether it be through certifications in the job market, or starting your own side hustle online, offline, starting a service business as Erica and Glenn and Cameron preaches. Because I listened to both. I was able to find Erica through Glenn and Cameron. So
Same.
at the end of the day, I'm always here. You always hear me say it, to be helping people to become a better version of themselves professionally.
Mhm.
That is also including your personal economy. In whatever way you choose to go, dark mode for the rest of the year would be the theme for tonight, to make sure that when you're in dark mode or you're in that mode of staying focused on that goal, making sure that you're getting some wins from that goal. As you heard several of our panelists here talk about the fact that they're in dark mode now to get some goals accomplished, whether it be with 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 certification, whether you're studying to become certified in some form of IT or something else, that is going to be able to bring some investment returns to your personal economy, whether it be you working or whether it be you having a business, if you're able to buy a business, in whatever way, shape, or form possible that you can, legal ways, let me specify that, that you can improve your personal economy. Please make sure that if you don't get anything else from this, understand that we're here to help you become a better professional, whether you're looking to improve your credit, because that can also help to segue our credit solutionist offers. Cherie, if you're looking to become a better professional or to increase your personal economy through real estate. I'm not, and of course, our young lady here is, of course, it asks questions about personal economy. She's going into dark mode. Follow her example. Myself, I'm in dark mode in some way, shape, or form to get some things underway, which is why I was missing for a few weeks online. And now I am back here making sure that we are all putting ourselves in a position to not be subjected or not put ourselves in a position to be subjected to things like minimum wage, to not put ourselves and to be subjected to the economic downturns. We don't have to participate in the economy, as Cherie said on her channel, but we have to position ourselves to do so.
I have a question, Mentor Shelley.
Yeah.
Since you're very good as far as like HR employment stuff, what is the job market looking like as far as opportunities or the abundance of jobs that will actually make you have a decent living? Is that that dwindling? Is that increasing? Is it certain fields or sectors only?
It depends on the sector you're in. Yes. Yeah. It is definitely the sector that you're in. Because if you are in trades is booming right now. If you know how to fix somebody's plumbing, if you know how to wire somebody's house, if you know how to build a house from the ground up.
Ooh, I need to find a tradesman.
Same. Okay.
If you find a good tradesman, he's not available because he's busy working on a million projects, even when he has a team. So it depends on the sector you're in. IT is still getting hits left, right, and center. I read an article a couple of days ago. LinkedIn just laid off 300 people.
Woo!
Yeah.
Woo!
And there were 300 engineers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's why I said it depends on the sector you're in. You could be booming in one area and be hemorrhaging in the next area. It all depends on the industry you're in. So if you're in IT in certain sectors, yeah, it's a little wishy-washy. And in other areas, they can't find enough people.
I dated someone who works for Google, and he was saying that when a lot of IT people get laid off, they get at least 6 months severance and they quickly find something else. Like it's as bad as other people's layoffs. Like they can chill for like a year.
A lot of them work in that capacity anyway. Some of them only work for 6 months out of the year because they're making $150 to $250, $100,000 a year. They can afford to do that. So that's why I said it depends on the sector you're in. Even when you get laid off, it's not really like a layoff like everybody else would experience because you kind of have a slush fund to kind of fall back on. Layoffs for other people does not work that way. So it just depends on the sector you're in. A lot of sectors are kind of flat right now. And then there's others that are booming. If you're in trades, in any kind of trades, I said plumbing, electricians, carpenters, builders, anybody that's in the sectors of people are doing a lot more remodeling these days than they are, let's say, because there's a lot of people that caught that 2-3% refi and they're not leaving their house. So they're doing everything they can to improve what they got. So there's a lot of people that are using a lot of those trade services or that trade sector. So the trades are, if you can find a good one, they're busy.
Can I say something about that? So I don't know why, but YouTube recommended this guy's video to me. And he was a handyman saying that his jobs had dried up and he wasn't working as much as he used to. And I just was scratching my head like, my handyman stays busy. He's booked until next year. And I thought,
yes,
I wonder if this guy has a marketing issue because
he does.
Okay, I thought so. I'm like, that doesn't sound right at all.
Either that or he's not in the right place. One out of the two.
Or yeah, and I wasn't sure where in the country he was located, but I just thought that was odd.
Yeah, because if he was anywhere in Atlanta or Fort Lauderdale, or because a lot of tradespeople left South Florida because of what some of the legislature that went down, so they are looking for tradespeople.
Yeah, I mean DMV area, just like okay. I was like, that's kind of weird.
Upstate,
So
it just depends. Yeah, he's probably either not in the right place or not marketing very well.
Yeah,
one of the two. The fact that you found him on YouTube, that might help him to some degree as far as the services he provides. But
I feel like she's talking about the same guy that I saw because I was like, why is he on my feed? So I think they're giving us
in a car.
Yes, girl. And I was like, what the heck?
And
but
I
was going to say, I wanted to speak to that really fast because just with the, the newer service that we're offering at PX Credit Solutions, it's like I'm talking to people during our debt consultations. And I will tell you, like, what you said about the tradesman makes complete sense because I've talked to more than one tradesman, like to get themselves out of debt. And I'm like, hey, you just got to cast your net a little further than your immediate area. And I can sense the resistance when I say that. And I'm like, you don't have a choice. So you need more money, get in your car and go. You know what I mean? And like you said, it's a marketing thing. And that's kind of what I was asking Shelly about earlier, where it's like, we kind of get into this this rhythm where we're very comfortable with whatever it is that's bringing in a certain amount of cash, but we don't necessarily want to dedicate ourselves for the next, 60, 90, 120 days to do the next step up. You know what I mean? To get the extra income that we need, or just that extra push. And I've even seen it in myself. So I'm not saying that like this is, exclusive to just clients. It's like, no, we all go through this,
Right.
So I guess my question would be for you, Shelly, like what would you recommend someone do to catch themselves when they're doing that? Like when we're kind of sliding into our comfort zone, because sometimes your comfort zone will not allow you to see the possibilities, or see maybe you should just add one more city to your advertisement, or get on YouTube 2 times a week versus one, or start a TikTok. Like what is it in your opinion as the career coach that makes us not want to, I guess, start that new process? Like why are some folks so hesitant when that could be the answer?
Hello, Samurai Bliss. I'm about to jump right into that. Of course,
Okay.
it wasn't initially supposed to be a panel, but this is how we roll sometimes. And with that, it all depends on what you're feeding yourself on a daily basis. Because sometimes we might get comfortable because, okay, well, this is being taken care of and that's being taken care of. But does it meet our goals? Are we revisiting our goals on a regular basis? Is it something that, okay, I know I want to be here by this time, but do I need to tweak? Okay, yes, I know if I do this, then this result will come. But if I want to jump 2x, I'm going to need to put more at the beginning to get a better result going in. So sometimes different things influence different people. Sometimes life has to put fire under our butt for us to move. And sometimes it's situations change in our life, meaning a situation where people in our life come and go. There's changes there. It took some of us, it took losing a partner to get some of us to wake up. Sometimes it may be gaining a partner for us to wake up and say, oh, we're going to work on this together. Or it may be a new child that puts some pep in our step to make some changes. It all depends. Whatever it is that drives you, because listen, 20 years from now, I want my life to look like this. But in order for it to look like this, I got to make changes now. So 20 years from now, it doesn't look like Uncle Joe and Auntie Pookie that's still talking about what they never got 25 years ago because they never got off their butt and made a change. Maybe it's that family member that you look at when you go to the cookout or you go to the reunion and you're going, I do not want to be that. And that might be the motivation. So different things motivate different people. But at the end of the day, you have to figure out what motivates you. I know for a fact that I want to, because I'm not originally from the US. I'm an immigrant myself. But I've been in this country more than I've been in my birth country. And I want to make sure that I make a bigger mark than my parents ever did in a positive way. When I leave this earth, I don't want to just be, oh, well, I knew this girl and she was nice. No, she made an effort to not improve just her life, but the people around her. She did her ever dear best to do X, Y, Z, and not just say that, but there's action and tangible things to show it. So it's not, it's, and a lot of times we're doing these businesses and we're doing these things, but at the end of the day, it's not all about us. It's about the positive changes that we're making. Because Mentor Shelley is not just about careers and resumes. I want you to be able to improve your life. But all of those things are, a lot of those things are answered with money. Okay? And in order for you to be able to lead the type of quality life you want, you're going to need some more money. Appreciate the backup there, Cherie. We're going to need more money.
What do you say to people that are a little averse to that? Because I've run into that as well, where it's like, you're all about money. And it's like, no, I'm not. That's just the thing I talk about when you're around, but like, that's not.
Let me ask this question. Do they like to do they like the roof over their head? What pays for that?
You mean love doesn't pay bills around here?
No, boo boo kitty. Does
not even the light bill.
Courage doesn't pay bills?
Do you like to eat? What pays for that? Like,
ma'am, I love you.
Okay. What the internet we on right now, the computers or the phones we're on right now to talk about this situation. All of that is paid. All the bills for that is paid by Money. Let's get real.
And I think we need to remove some of the shame from desiring that. You know what I mean? Because we have to consider where we live. We're in America, and that's the name of the game. We have to remove the shame from pursuit of financial security. Yeah. Even financial abundance. I would love to remove that. I know Athena would. I know Cherie would. I know you would for sure, Shelley. It's like we have to remove the shame from that. There's no shame in that at all.
There's no shame in wanting to be better. There's no shame in wanting to put yourself in a better position so that when you make moves, you can make them make powerful moves, not just rinky-dink ones that you're no, you want to be able to be a force.
So can I piggyback off that and
yes,
say, there is no shame unless you hang around people who shame you. And a lot of us, it's not us, it's our best friend. It's our mom, our dad, our cousin, our best friend from the first grade, and a lot of people are afraid that you are going to leave them behind. And for us, there are a lot of us who either feel, and I'll talk as Black women, for example, who feel like, well, I don't want them to think I'm still not down, or I'm still, or I'm getting too uppity or bougie, or those are the terminology that I use. I don't know the street lingo. And a lot of it is, I have a fear of success because success is the unknown. Success means that I am going to have to move into uncomfortable places with uncomfortable people, doing uncomfortable things. So because of that, I'm going to stay where I am, pretend like I want to be, someplace else, but not really doing the things that I need to do to get there.
She said a mouthful with that. I'm like, ooh, that kind of hurt. That kind of pierced my heart a little bit. Like, wait a minute, Cherie, I'm gonna need you to stop, ma'am.
Cherie Still Rock said, I was driving them. Go watch a replay, please. We appreciate you joining in whatever capacity you can. And Still Rocks, I'm gonna respond to Cherie like this. We gonna get this money, family. Okay. Because guess what? You see them folks that's hating on you because of it, because you have the goals and the mindset and the fortitude to actually go after it.
Yeah.
Those folks deep down know that because of the changes you choose to make, it forces them to look in the mirror. And because they don't want to change what's in that mirror, they want to try to drag you down and try to discourage you from making the changes that you within yourself know that you can make to get where it is that you're trying to go economically. So their opinions and their mindset and their limited belief cannot pay my bills either.
So it sounds like it's about staying mindful and intentional, I think is what I hear you saying, because it can be tough. It really can be. And I guess, sharing your goals with people that are like-minded. Like some things I talk to you about, Shelly,
Mhm.
I wouldn't talk to my siblings or even the person I'm dating. Like I probably wouldn't share
Would
certain
not.
things with those people because that's just not where we are at this juncture. You know what I mean? And
That's
and
right.
that's okay. It's not a negative thing.
Nope. It
So
just has to be that way because you have to speak to, and you
mhm.
have to you can't share the dream that you got for yourself. The dream that you received is not for everybody else, it's for you.
Not a conference call.
It's not a conference call, so you have to be very mindful of who you share it with. And
Yeah.
and
And don't let the input discourage you,
right,
you know? Yeah,
absolutely.
for sure.
I'm in complete agreement with you there when you said yes. A lot of us yet will can't used to, because it took some work. I'm gonna it took some work,
Yeah.
but I can't care about your feelings when these bills got to get paid. I can't care about your feelings when I'm trying to go from not going from one income to three. When I'm working to build that, I
Yeah.
can't care about your feelings. I can't, because I'm not going to get where I need to get. So in 2, 3, 4 years, when the job says "c'est la vie," I'm not even batting an eye. How
Right.
do you think that's going to happen? Erica's a prime example of that. Classy Climb. She talks about her
Mhm.
journey all the time. Do you think? I'm sure she had people in her family and friends that she used to deal with that she don't even deal with no more. Try to encourage her. Oh, you still have that YouTube business? I know they're not saying that foolishness now, because guess what? Those decisions she made, the results are showing. So I can't care about what you feel about
Yeah.
it, because the feelings is not going to get me to where I need to get.
That's true.
So, Mentor
Feelings are
Shelley,
Yeah.
fleeting.
okay, so then let's talk about some of the opportunities that you're seeing people can pursue career wise. What are you seeing in the marketplace that, some people may want to like take a look at, research more, etc.?
I would definitely say for the young men and women that have interest in trades, definitely go that route. There is opportunity after opportunity, whether it be from a apprentice standpoint to get into trades. That is where a lot of money is, and it doesn't take as long as it would to, let's say, get a college degree, because some college degrees, unfortunately, is overpriced at this point. Um, another sector, there's a lot of great opportunities also in IT, whether you're going for cybersecurity, depending on what area, cloud management, the possibilities are endless in IT. It all depends on what sectors of IT you want to touch on. Um, regular sectors, of course, if you want to be in the medical field, there's some areas that are crying for nurses right now, and there's some areas that are not treating their nurses right. But there's always going to still be a need for nurses, for anesthesiologists, for radiology techs. A lot of those certifications are 2-year certifications. Um, going into the medical field, if it's something that you can handle, and it's something, if you care for people, then that definitely is a great matchup, because you are going to be dealing with people at their most vulnerable place. So if you have a heart for people, that would definitely be some places that you can go. If you are looking to switch careers, what is it that you like to do now that you can do in a different career? You initially you've made a pivot recently. um some of us are about to make some pivots, so it just depends on where is it that you want to go. There's opportunities in every sector. It just depends on what you're willing to put in the work for. I'm not going to sit up here and say college degrees are outdated. It's not. But for certain sectors, there are certain sectors right now where You can literally use controversial marketing, become the next big thing on TikTok and whatever. You don't need a college degree, and you create enough buzz around yourself, you can become the life coach of the century with absolutely no certification. So
And
there's
that's the truth. Yeah.
that's the honest truth. People are going that route these days because they use the attention they get to parlay it into money in some way, shape, or form. So
Yeah, I would just say make sure if you're going to do something like that, that there's some sort of longevity, long game with that,
yeah,
because we have also seen people go viral over one video, make money, and then, that's it. They don't they didn't invest it. They didn't have a business like behind
right.
the
They just
viralness.
they used the popularity, made the money, and didn't do anything
Do anything
productive
with
with
it.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, I think there are a lot of opportunities out there. I have been saying on my channel, and you all have heard me say this. Number one, DEI is dead. DEI is diversity, equity, and inclusion. So you're gonna have to be top 10% of your craft. Um, but there is still, with regards to being able to study anything, penetrate practically any industry,
yeah,
America is still the place for that. If you lived in
absolutely.
China or some of these other countries, if they say you're going to be an accountant, you don't have a choice. Here in the United States of America,
You can still
you
choose.
can actually decide what you want to do, and you can like blaze your own career path. Um,
Absolutely.
so, and speaking of accountants, people never mention accountants, but accountants make very good money. So if people want to get into a really good industry where they'll always need you, y'all should be
Always,
accountants.
That's
always.
why we need Athena back on here. She didn't get to talk about what she actually does for a
Yeah.
living, but she's in the financial sector as well,
See,
independently now, and it's a pretty big deal. So you're
exactly.
absolutely right. There's room for everybody, you
There's
Mhm.
know.
room for everybody, and
Yeah.
and yeah, at the end of the day, um, as you refer to us, Black women making money, or upwardly mobile Black women, as you refer to us, Cherie. Um, we all have our own path that we're going
Yeah.
into, whether it be in business or in our careers or both. um but we all have goals that we're all striving for. At the end of the day, I want to make sure that anyone listening to this or comes across this video after we are done, I want this to be the concrete focus. If you want something out of life, if you want your personal economy to be better, if you have focus and intention and you have determination as well as strategic goals. I have to specify strategic goals because somebody could be 65 years old and want to be a rapper. It's not going to happen. That's a
Why you gotta
goal.
say that?
I'm just, listen, I use the outrageous to bring my point across. But
Girl, that came for half the manosphere. Stop it.
but
Let me be quiet.
at the end of the day, the strategic goals that make sense, Lord, please, if it has to make sense to make dollars, that makes sense, and you put a plan in place and truly work that plan, you are going to hit bumps in the road. You are going to get pushback. At the end of the day, if it wasn't worth it, the rewards wouldn't be as high. So it's worth it to push through. At the end of the day, depending on what industry you want to go into, there is success in every industry. Do your research. BLS.gov. I'm going to drop a few of those websites in the chat right now. BLS.gov. Onet Online is another place that you can research all industries and obtain what you need as far as base pay, um, range of salaries for each area and sector in that industry. Do your personal homework. I cannot tell you what to do. I can help you figure it out. I can help you figure it out. And then once you know what to do, then we put your personal framework together for your own personal economy, whether it be to delve down in your career or to get your business up and running, to get your business structured. I definitely help with that as well. Um, you definitely can, if you want to work on your credit to help your job chances as well as your business chances. Business credit is also something that Credit Solutionist helps with. And of course, Black Women Making Money, she also, if you want to move into the areas of real estate and real estate investing, or using real estate to create additional income, Cherie is definitely the person to reach out to for all of those things. At the end of the day, guys, you have multiple avenues to operate through. And I want you guys to go ahead, and if you are not subscribed to any of these ladies, please do your best to go find the Credit Solutionist channel and subscribe, and to find Black Women Making Money's YouTube channel and subscribe, because this is the type of discussions that we have on all three of these channels, whether we're together or separate.
Yes.
If you have questions, concerns, go ahead and put them in the chat. If you guys want to talk to me directly as far as what your career plan is going to be, you can go to mentorshelley.com/consultation so we can put your strategic plan together for your career, for your business, for your economic life, because this is what this whole conversation was about, to improve your economic life. Cherie, any last words?
Yes, I wanted to say to people there are 74 days left between now and the end of the year. You can have a whole new life by the end of the year. If you're unsure, if you are unsure what path you need to take, you need to get Mentor Shelley on the line, pay her, sit down, come up with your plan, pick something and stick with it. That's what I have to say that about that as well. Pick something and stick with it
Preach.
between now and the end of the year. Some of you could have a certification that could get you a bump in salary. Also, on my channel, I'm also telling you about networking as well.
Yes.
What is coming up? The holiday parties.
Mm-hmm.
You think people aren't hiring during December? You're wrong, because they're thinking about 2024 and what they want, etc. I was recruited from November through the end of December. I had a couple of interviews, and my start date was January 3rd of this year. So you think that people aren't going to hire you, and everybody slows down in December. I'm telling you that is not that's not
That is false.
true. You could be at a holiday party at the beginning of December and have a new job at the end of December. So, like, don't don't take your foot off the pedal,
Yeah.
off the gas. What is it? Take your foot
Yep.
off the gas. Yeah,
Correct.
yeah. That's my final comments to all who are listening.
All right. Credit Solutionist?
That was good stuff, because I was just on a consultation telling somebody the same thing. I'm like, hey, you got to get out there. You got to talk to people. You never know what's going to come up in the conversation. I was literally randomly chatting somebody 2 days ago, and I'm like, hey, how would you break into IT? Like, what's that career track like? And he's like, oh, let me send you these certifications that you should probably think about getting if you want to pivot and do something different. Just opening your mouth and saying something. People want to share information. And I do think networking is going to be huge. I think the holidays are a great opportunity, like Cherie was saying. Figure out, like, the first thing you all have to do is figure out where you want to be. It's okay to dream 5 years, 10 years, even 90 days into the future. For me, I'm literally planning a year ahead. That's like all that I have in my head right now that I can do, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we get to the other stuff, we will. Don't judge yourself. It's okay to take it step by step, but pick a plan and stick to it. I think that's the main thing you're going to see, no matter who you speak with that's been on this panel tonight. And have faith in the outcome, right? Because you made it this far, you're still breathing, you're going to accomplish whatever it is that you set out to do. You literally just have to focus, Go dark for a little bit if you need to, and just know that the outcome is going to actually happen. And consistency is key. Lastly, do not be afraid to reach out for help. We literally have 3 separate areas of expertise on this screen right now. We are an email away. We are a Instagram, a TikTok, a Facebook away, right?
Yep.
We're here. Like, y'all have no idea. Like, people that you need are accessible. So all you got to do is just reach out, right? Judgment-free zone. So that's my thing. It's like, if you know you need the help, reach out. That is step number 1. So take that first step. That's my advice closing out this year and going into the next year. Just take the first step. You never know where it's going to lead you. So that's what I got.
Okay.
And follow my channel.
Of course. Ladies, I appreciate all of your input, your insight, your expertise that you guys shared tonight in driving the personal economy conversation. Legacy is a lifestyle. Great job. Thank you so much. I appreciate you joining the stream and everyone that contributed to the stream. Our other guest that was here, and she definitely added to the conversation.
That was Goddess Athena.
Yeah. Samurai, Cheryl Willie, J. Antoinette, everyone that came through. Let me see here. Where is he? He's always in the beginning of our streams. Mr. Still Rocks 33, of course, Mr. Gabe, and everyone that joined and contributed to this very fruitful conversation. At the end of the day, guys, we want to make sure that we contribute to our personal economy by doing what is necessary in all areas to either build a business, build our careers, or build a side hustle. It just depends on where we are to create a better situation for ourselves individually and collectively. Credit Solutionist, I appreciate you. Cherie, I appreciate your contributions. Thank you so much. Of course, guys, if you if as you are coming in or as you're leaving, go ahead and like the video, comment, share it with someone that can definitely benefit from this conversation. Guys, of course, this is Mentor Shelling, wanting to make sure that you become a better version of yourself professionally, especially in the areas of your own personal economy. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate you joining us on the show, and we will definitely be doing more of these. You guys take care, and you have a good one. Bye.